So my name is Nicole Smith. I am the Event and Communications Coordinator for Spark Niagara. And we have been hosting these webinars since the spring or April, and it is our pleasure to do that. We are happy to have you here joining us. We do this in partnership with the South Niagara Chamber of Commerce, as well as the Niagara Falls Small Business Enterprise Center. And it is our pleasure to be able to do that and offer this to not only our membership, but to the community at large. So thank you so much. And it's our distinct pleasure to have Campbell, who is president of Westridge Benefits, join us today. And we are very excited to see everything and hear everything he has to share, especially seeing as he's talking about, protecting the greatest asset we have, which is ourselves, or in this case, you. So Kyle, without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to you and let you go with it.
Thanks, Nicole. I appreciate the invite and being here today. It's fun to see everyone logging in. I have some familiar faces that we've definitely done business together, or we've networked in the past. So again, thanks for having me. Today, the subject we talk about is really protecting the greatest asset, and that is you. A little bit of my background it will get into is I am the president of Westridge Benefits. We are a company that has 3 divisions. We have Westridge HR, which is an HR consulting company working with medium, small businesses on an outsourced level. We have a recruiting division, and then the insurance division that I lead is focused on employee benefits and business owner insurance, which we're going to talk about today. So I'm a very big believer in investing in your greatest asset results in greatest growth of your company. So through our services, whether it's the HR to grow recruiting and liabilities, or it's insurance side, protecting you, protecting your employees as well. That's what we really specialize and focus on. So as I said, my name is Kyle. I won't read the long blurb to you, but I've been in the insurance space now for around 8.5 years. I started with a larger firm in Toronto, went to Kitchener, and then opened up Westridge Benefits around 3 years ago now. So I focus on really bringing the business owner perspective, graduating from Niagara University, doing my master's there, obviously being a business owner right now, and taking my accreditations along the way that you'll see as, for instance, the STEEB, is the Certified Employee Benefit Specialist. And that focuses on the group coverage and the owner business insurance coverage. So today what I'm going to talk about is insurance, which isn't always the most exciting topic, but just kind of do a high level cap of why it's important, what it can offer, and kind of why it's actually a little bit underutilized when you're opening and starting a business. So I just want to start off by saying hats off to you. Many of the people logging in are business owners or entrepreneurs. It is such a leap in faith to do it. Our economy appreciates it. We employ numerous people. Obviously, there's a roller coaster of stress and emotion. So I just want to take a second and really thank everyone for giving their efforts. And you should be very proud to be in this space. So when you first open up a business, right, we always go through the basics of we find an accountant, we get a lawyer, we have a banker, website and marketing, all very important aspects. Commercial insurance normally comes before because it's most time mandatory. But a lot of times people forget to protect the biggest asset, which is yourself, the business owner. And, through talking with colleagues and just being in the industry, a lot of people kind of forget about it because, again, it's not the most, beautiful marketed, sexy product out there. It's looked at as a cost. Maybe they think it's too expensive without knowing. And realistically, you're excited to start your business, get revenue going, generate leads and marketing. But the end of reality is it is very important because you are the central location of your business and it relies on you as a lifeline. So why does protecting you matter? It's because you are the boss, right? And again, congratulations to that, but you are either a boss or an executive or a person of power and authority, of knowledge, right? So it comes down to the business that we're in most likely cannot operate without your expertise, without your, mentorship, evaluations, etc. So protecting you matters because you are the lifeline to the business. But of course, why insurance, right? Why would insurance be the solution to protecting you? And that's what it comes down to is, insurance gets that negative name of it doesn't seem to ever pay out or it's overpriced, but it's actually a fantastic product. It's unfortunate that most people try to get insurance, but it's a little bit too late. So why insurance, we'll see on the screen, is it protects your business, right? It protects key employees that suddenly become unable to work, unable to show up to work, provide, give input. Unfortunately, if they do pass away, that's another, it's being used as business partner or association. and it's meant to cover your expenses. So in the insurance world, everyone kind of groups it together, but we're going to talk about three subjects today that I believe is most relevant for this conversation. So we're going to start talking about disability insurance and why that is, again, so important to have as a business owner. We're going to talk a little bit about life insurance on the key person / owner life insurance. And then we'll talk about the group benefits, which is a large portion of my business as well. And when you can start a plan, what it looks like, the traction retention piece of it, and kind of summarize it that way. So again, this will be purposely left at a higher level with, again, please ask many questions, but I'm not here to bore you. So that's why, if you have certain pricing and whatnot, just let me know. We can definitely connect after the presentation. So everyone says, why insurance? Like I mentioned before, it's because if you get injured, what are your options, right? So yes, you may have a savings, or maybe you don't have savings at all. So if you don't have savings, then that's an obvious, there's no money to pull from to cover for the business expenses, cover your salary, cover your employees' salaries. And then you have your home fixed cost as well. So your mortgage, your car payment, your cost of living. So even if you have savings, you don't want to be pulling from that, right? And it's not an efficient way to run a business. So insurance would cover those expenses. Your other option is you may have a spouse that works, but again, are you dependent on both incomes or one? You can borrow it, but again, that's not a strong business strategy if you're borrowing it just to borrow. And especially as we know, as entrepreneurs in the first couple of years, or just depending on how banks look at the business, it's not always easy to grab accessible funds that way. And then lastly, group coverage, which a lot of business owners starting up don't have, and if you do have it, that's even better. But there is a gap between group coverage, disability, and life insurance, and compared to business owner, just based on revenues and income needed and operating expenses as well, depending how you structure your policy. So we're going to start off, like I said, with the disability insurance. And the disability insurance is there to sorry, I'm just going to move the screen. Disability insurance there is because obviously if you become disabled or injured and unable to work. And this policy, depending on how you structure it, can go up to age 65. And insurance is always obviously cheaper at a younger, healthier age. But disability insurance protects you and your business that if you do become injured or ill, then this policy would come into effect and replace, again, your income, depending on business operating expenses, et cetera. So a lot of people are confused by what disability coverages may be. So I do have some stats from RBC that you may be surprised the most common types of claims. So mental disorder is 31%, cancers are 16%, muscle diagnosis, cardio injuries are between 12 and 28%. And really the typical slip and fall or workplace injury only equates for 10% of claims. So a disability product will allow you to focus on your business, and if you do become injured, have a backup plan for you. So when you're looking at a disability plan, a lot of people don't realize what the value of yourself is as a potential income earner in a business. So obviously you have your business revenues that you can kind of focus on, but this is a great chart that's showing, what your value and wealth is as an individual, as a person. So if you do a basic example of, if you're 35 years old and you're making $60,000 a year, by age 65, your wealth is actually around $2.4 million. So you are worth a lot of money, right? You're protecting an asset that is generating more income and is a big payout. So you want to make sure that is protected. Everyone protects their cars and their homes, but are you protecting yourself as an income generator? And again, as this chart shifts, you can see the larger gap in income grows as well. So everyone said the insurance product, yes, I understand it. Yes, I see how it pays it out to an extent, but what are the chances? And I kind of categorize this as Superman syndrome. And I know I've been there, and we all do at certain times. Is it's normal to feel invincible, but unfortunately we're not. So the stats do show that at a younger age, it will see in the corner there, your risk of disability at age 25 is 58%, at 30 is 54, at 35 is 50, large numbers. And if you're wondering why it's decreasing, is because majority of time when we're younger, we're more active in doing more extreme items or sports that may get us disabled. And there is a shift into an older age. But the situation to realize is a lot of these claims as well is the duration of it is 2.5 years up to 3 years. So there is that injury illness corridor where you want to make sure that the chances of your protection are covered. And we won't talk about it too much today, but down in the corner there, you'll see injury, which is disability, but also the illness side. And that's another product we can talk about, a different webinar, or you can reach out, that can be covered as well. And it's called critical illness. And that's a lump sum payout that would cover most commonly a heart attack, cancer, stroke. It can be corporately owned. And if you do have that illness, the lump sum payment would go into the company and you'd be able to cover any expenses that may be occurring. Okay, so a lot of other questions. I'm kind of putting this presentation together of what I see out in the marketplace, what people's kind of persona is, and why they're not overly, formally educated on the product. So again, a lot of people come down to, well, okay, how's it priced? How expensive is it? What does it cover? All those details. So in a nutshell, when you're looking at disability product to protect yourself as the most valuable asset, the insurance carriers looking at the risk of a claim. So they're going to factor in your age, your gender, your overall current health, your occupation. So they do have different series. So RBC, for instance, has a professional series that's geared towards more the desk jobs, not as active, not as high risk, compared to if you're an owner, manufacturer, and that side is a little bit higher risk. Factors in your income, of course, because that would be a larger payout, and also how long you choose to receive the benefits. So again, based off the policy structure that we won't get into, but there's numerous ways to create a policy tailored to you. The cookie cutter solution for business owners really doesn't work because they don't understand how you're pulling from the company, your responsibilities, your overhead, many other factors. And then other policy features like riders. So you can have one policy that has inflation, so it grows obviously as the years do, so you're always covered at a proper amount. And again, another question we always have is, what is protection cost? And by that, I mean, what cost should I be covering? And that comes down to a combination of your lifestyle and also your business. So that is a question we normally answer. We do a more of a deep dive into the financials, into the salary, dividends, et cetera, to build up the right coverage. And then the second question is, well, what if my business grows? Maybe I'll get it next year. Next year I need it. Well, the best time to always get insurance is yesterday. The next best time is right now. And then again, with different riders of indexed and inflation, these policies will grow with you, just like you are in your company. Again, keeping this high level, just to, again, because the insurance world can be a little bit confusing at times, but that's what we're here for. So you see the policy, you understand the need for it, you decide to commit to a tailored solution for you. How does it work from kind of start to finish in a nutshell? And that goes to right here. So you're going to choose the coverage amount based off everything I described. We're going to add any optional benefits to tailor it to your solution, to your company. You're going to pay the monthly premium. Of course, they're going to want to make sure they're getting paid monthly, or you can do it annually as well for some more savings. And then the policy is in force. You go about your work life, you're hopefully growing, hopefully never need to claim the benefit. But if you do become disabled, then you would contact the carrier and your consultant to work together. We would go on claim if you do qualify. And then you receive monthly payments when your waiting period ends. And that kind of alludes to the options you choose. You can have waiting periods of 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, and that all kind of tampers with how much the cost of insurance will be. And then from there, when you're a disability, you're getting your payout that goes towards your business, towards your income, towards everything you need to stay healthy, keep your business alive, and not have to dip into your savings or sell the business, let it close. Again, protecting the greatest asset, which is you. And then when you are ready to go back to work, your payments stop, you return to work, and hopefully the business is just still continuing to grow, and you're able to step back in at not a deficit. Another thing that makes an injury prolong, and it's proven studies, is the financial stress when you're on an injury will prolong the length that you're off. So it is proven that with product insurance or having less financial stress, you will heal at a faster rate, allowing you to get back and make decisions and be impactful in the business once again. So that, in a nutshell, again, I can use an expression, but is the first product of the conversation to protect you as a business owner is talking about the disability side of things. It's to protect if you do get, ill or injured, that you will have a steady income. You don't have to pull from the company. It's able to thrive, especially in the starting years, right? You are the lifeline and you are the support system to the company. You couldn't imagine when I first started, I couldn't imagine if, I wasn't able to make the decisions and do the networking and grow the company. And to bring someone in who may not have the same expertise or vision as you can be very impactful to the stunt of the company itself. So that kind of summarizes the first product, and that's what we call a living benefit. So a living benefit in the insurance world is something that you would pay for and you would receive yourself obviously as income towards the business and the company. And the next one we're going to switch over to is protecting your greatest asset, but it's actually a death benefit. So not nearly as fun to talk about, but just as important, unfortunately, inside the company, right? So the business owner life insurance is a corporately held life insurance policy by the company on yourself as a business owner, or you can do a key person, right? If that person is very impactful at a higher level, and if unfortunately they were to pass away, and this works on the disability side too, or their income, that you would need this revenue to find another person or to pay down and restructure a company to an extent. And that's what this product here is. So it's a tax-free benefit as well when it is paid out on the life insurance side. And it covers the liabilities, the debts, and possible partnership agreements inside a company. So, if you have a partner, you may have one on each other for the valuation of the company, where unfortunately one person passes away, and that money will be paid into the company, and you could use that to buy out the shares of the spouse. They own 100% or reinvest, depending how your company is aligned. And then as yourself, even if you're independent, right? If you're just a one-person shop or a smaller crew, and you have liabilities such as equipment leasing or owning buildings, etc., this is a tax-free way, bank loans, to cover all that debt and know that you're not going to leave anyone in a financial burden that is associated with you. When it comes down to the key person life insurance aspect, there are two primary products here. And again, this is from a high level, but we have our term side, which is, again, the most common, especially in the business acumen, because it's affordable, which is fantastic. It's temporary, so it's set for a period of time. Normally, people will line it up with their succession plan of when they want to retire, maybe sell the business in a certain amount of years, cover a debt for a certain period. You can do a 10-year, 20-year, 30-year term. And it's also convertible, which is great. So you can turn that policy from corporately owned into your personal name and convert it into permanent. Because permanent is a fantastic product as well. You have cash value that gets built up in it. It's obviously permanent, as you see in the name. And depending how it's structured, when you build cash value in it, it can have some loan ability, but it is much more expensive. So depending on the structure of the motive, that's kind of the essence of those two products. We'll go grab a sip of water. So let's talk about term, because that is probably one of the most common products sold on a buy, sell, or a key person or business owned policy, especially in the start when there isn't a ton of cash value to be sitting there and you're being cost effective. So a lot of my clients sit down and after explaining these different products, go, okay, well, which one should I choose? Well, depending on how you structure it, it's not both. It doesn't have to be just one. It's normally kind of both, depending on the structure. So the life insurance side is much cheaper than disability, primarily because disability has a higher claim rate, especially compared to the term insurance, what I'm specifically talking about. And it factors in age and mortality to an extent. So can I afford both? Majority of the time, the answer is yes. And again, for the term, I did some basic examples. 30-year-old male, non-smoker, standard rates. They get a term 10 policy, which means it lasts for 10 years. The insurance carrier can't cancel on you. The premiums don't go up in that duration for $1 million at $38 a month. And if you're female, same stats, $26 a month. So a lot of clients that are taking on debt at the beginning to just reassure that they're covered in case anything happens. A term policy is a very strong structure. And as it grows, it's also an estate planning tool. So when you're bringing in different business partners or doing a succession plan, then it becomes more robust and can cover multiple different avenues and corporations. So again, we first started with the disability, then we went to the life side of key person or business owned. We had the term, we had the perm. So that's a death benefit. We have a living benefit, which is the disability. So it keeps your business running, getting you healthy back in there. And then as your company grows, and this is, again, another specialty of Westridge Benefits, obviously, is employee benefits and retirement packages. So the employee benefits package itself is, to summarize it, is your kind of like the health and dental. It's that drug card that you would bring to the dentist or you'd bring to, obviously, the pharmacy. And it would provide you with coverage in, these are the top categories. We have the life insurance side, which is normally a flat amount or times of a salary. Again, normally topped up by business owners, but great for employees. Has a disability portion as well. So those are the two subjects we talked about inside the plan. Has your health, so your prescription drugs, your dental, so has your dentists, your checkups, paramedical services, which we all love. That's your chiro, massage, and much more. From there, there's out-of-country coverage, hospital coverage, hearing aids. The plans can be very robust. And this is a great tool, obviously, as a business owner to support yourself and your family and stay healthy because health is your wealth, and also attraction and retention. I have noticed a big trend since COVID that many companies that didn't have benefit plans before now are inquiring on pricing. They're reaching out to say, okay, let's do a plan design, which will cover at least some people. In order to hire this person, we need a plan. So it's one of those objects that when you hit a critical mass in your growth, it fits the mold of growth patterns. Again, questions that I get when we're out marketing and meeting with new clients that don't have benefit plans, and that's this focus. We definitely specialize a lot on current benefit plans, marketing them, looking at liabilities, tailoring them, cost reduction. But this one I thought would be a better fit to talk about starting up a benefit plan inside your growing company. So again, questions I get is how many employees do I need? A lot of people think, oh, I need 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. That's not true. Being a broker, we represent all carriers and as other brokers do, where you have Canada Life, Manulife, the Empire, Blue Cross, RBC, the list goes on, where they all tailor into different areas and price accordingly. But Manulife, for example, will do as small as 2 employees to start a group plan, and all the way up to 5, 10,000, sky's the limit. And each carrier kind of specializes also in different areas depending on their strategy, which relates to how much does this cost. So the benefit plan, that's why you want to work with a broker. They'll create a plan design, and that's reflective, obviously, of the premium. So you can have the Cadillac plans where everything's covered at 100%, or you can have a stripped down plan where it's only 50. I always say something is better than nothing, but again, that's directly related to cost. You take that plan design, you have your broker market it. They come back with the best results in the marketplace in a condensed portfolio and review the differences in the options. So again, that's very popular right now due to COVID. Also because certain companies are thriving through COVID just because unexpected growth. So now they're at a level where they want to participate in a plan like this. And then again, what are the benefits of the benefit plan? As I always joke around, is again attraction, retention, health for yourself, for your employees, the value of a plan. It's a cost, obviously, right off through your company, and the list goes on and on. And it is truly a tool that is very cost effective and really appreciated by employees, especially when you're attracting an employee from an existing firm where they've already have a plan. It's really hard to compensate that just from a monetary amount. And then I have questions, am I locked into that carrier forever? Or what if I want to cancel the plan? So, on average, they renew annually after a certain period, and you are in no contract as far as more than 30 days notice for the most extent, depending on how your plan's structured. I should preface that. And you do have the option to switch carriers at certain times if it makes sense. Switching all the time is not the plan. You want to always have sustainability, a good plan design, and have a good relationship with the carrier. But people sometimes get intimidated thinking that it's a forever thing. So it's just something to keep in mind. And again, lastly, what should I look for if I'm a business owner and I do inquire about selecting a carrier or a consultant? What should I be looking for? So make sure you're just looking at plan design, because you want to make sure your liabilities are covered. The coverage will represent the price and the usage and the renewals. You want to have a broker who's out there that does plan implementation. So we'll come to your site, do a teach out, hand out the drug cards, log in the apps, really create that rapport with your organization. Because again, you are paying for a product that you want to make sure your employees appreciate. And then from there, claims resolution, cost containment, all key things to be looking for when you're out there picking a consultant. And then on the carrier side, you always have your top, Manulife, Sun Life, Canada Life, the ones I mentioned, Empire. But again, you can just do your research, and most carriers now are very reputable, especially in the group space. So in summary, I want to thank you for tuning in. Again, I kept this to a high level, and hopefully there's some questions after. But I just really want to stress the asset that everyone kind of undermines is how valuable you are as a business owner and as a person, and the impacts that if unfortunately something happens on the disability side or an unfortunate death, the impact it has on your business and everything you work so hard for. So, protecting you and your employees is a crucial part of operating a business. Insurance is just a solution that allows you to focus on growing the business and being well protected. I never expect my clients to be happy to pay the insurance premiums or excited about different policies, but the reality is you want them to understand it and realize that they are protected. So at the end of the day, you know that you can operate your business if something does happen. So to summarize, we have the disability coverage, the life side, And then the group, I'd love to dive into further conversation, either outside or inside this portal. Let me know if you have any questions at all. I'm always very accessible, being located in St. Catharines as well. Yeah, I appreciate you having me today. I'll stay on if there's any questions, Nicole, and we'll go from there.
Well, thank you so much, Kyle. This was enlightening and very, yeah, definitely informative. And I really appreciate that. I appreciate how you broke it down and showed us the value of each of these components. So thank you so much for that.